Hello again and welcome back to another of Harry's Jeti clinics. One of the very first videos I did was in response to someone who asked how could he recover the full travel of the ailerons whilst applying crow braking. In Britain we tend to call it crow braking, many other countries and Jeti call it butterfly, so if I use the words crow or butterfly interchangeably I'm just talking about the same thing. And what's the issue? Well, look here, we've got our two aileron servos. I'll move the aileron stick. There they go. I'll now apply crow braking, and now I'll apply aileron on top of that. You can see one of them hits the servo limit. The other one doesn't get anywhere near 100% of travel. What that means is, in effect, you're getting a much reduced roll rate, often at a time when you need it just the most if you're fighting turbulence trying to land on the slope or whatever. So how can we change it from that to being something that looks like that, where both of them get the proper amount of travel? Well, in the very first video I showed a way of doing it with mixing, which involves quite a lot of steps to do it. I've now come up with another way of doing it, which personally I feel is a bit neater way, but either way works. And this method uses one of the butterfly tuning controls, which you may want to keep separate, in which case use the other method that I showed, which involves a mixer. Let's have a look at how we go about it. If we take a look in here, what we can do is use the aileron tuning working from the stick to effectively remove the butterfly whilst maintaining full aileron control. And we do it by putting a control in here from the stick, but we can't just use the stick itself. Let's have a look at what we need to do. We'll create a new function. We'll call it ailcrow. Okay, and we'll assign it our aileron stick, P1, okay to that, okay to that. Next, we need to give it the correct function curve. So we come in here to function curves, into ailcrow, change it from standard to a 3-point, into here. Now, what we want is an inverted V curve, so from -100, 0, -100. So we can accept that point. We can accept that point. The one we need to change is that one. So we bring that down to -100. Now, the gun sight is where the stick is. It's showing the left-right value and the output value on the vertical axis. So we can see with the stick at neutral, we're outputting 0%. With the stick full left or with the stick full right, it's outputting -100. Good. Say okay to that. Okay. And now we can come back to our butterfly flaps, into our tuning. The control will be not the stick. Remember, the stick is outputting -100, 0, +100. We don't want aileron as the input. We want the aileron crow function. So we press the plus, come down here to the functions. There's our ailcrow. See, at the moment it's giving a value of 0. I'll push the stick fully forward so you might just be able to see it in view. If I push full left, it goes to -100. And if I push full right, it goes to -100. And importantly, all along the way, it's smoothly changing its value. So we'll say okay to that. It needs to be a proportional control. It's defaulting to having no center. It's important that you switch a center on. Without a center, it just goes from full left gives us 0, 50, it should be about 50 in the middle. I need to recalibrate the sticks, and 0 at full right. This is not what we're after. So we want it to go from -100 at full left stick, 0 at the middle, and -100 at full right stick. Say okay to that. Now, what we need to do is put in the actual adjustment value in here. And this is where this number must match the number you've got for ailerons in the butterfly. And it must match the sign as well. This is plus 70. So if you've got a minus number, you've got to make a note of that as well. So this is plus 70. Say OK to that. In our tuning, we'll set the ailerons to plus 70. If it was a minus 70 value for the ailerons in the butterfly menu, you would set this to minus 70. If it was minus 37, you set this to minus 37. Remember, the two numbers must match. Say OK. And now let's have a look at the effect. I'll remove the crow. There's our two ailerons, full left, full right. Now if I apply the crow, we've got 70%. What happens if I press full left? We get 100% on both. Full right, 100% on both. But as you can see, there is still an element of crow braking there until you need full travel. And if you desperately need full travel, where it's removed the crow, then you'll be more concerned about needing full aileron control than you are about having crow, because you'll be fighting turbulence. Say OK to that. Now just remember, should you change this value, you must change it in the tuning value. For example, I'll change this to minus something. We'll have minus 40. Let's have minus 47 just to prove it. Say OK. What would happen now if I didn't change the tuning value? Well, it doesn't really work very well because the tuning is not matched. Coming down to here. Can you remember what the number was? It was minus 47, I think. Say OK. And now, OK, without crow brake, 100 there, 100 there. Crow brake is 47. Now I'll push full left aileron. There we go, back to 100s. Full right aileron, back to 100. So nice and neatly solved. Enjoy that.